The Galactic Council chamber fell silent as Ambassador Zixathala's message echoed through the crystalline walls. The insectoid diplomat's mandibles clicked nervously as she delivered what should have been devastating news. "The Vorthak hegemony has declared war on the Terran Federation," she announced, her compound eyes reflecting the holographic displays showing massive fleet movements. "They've already begun orbital bombardments of 3 human colonies." The assembled representatives from 47 civilizations shifted uncomfortably. The Vorthak were known throughout the galaxy as ruthless conquerors, their biomechanical war machines having consumed entire systems. When they targeted a species, extinction typically followed within cycles. But the human representative, Admiral Sarah Chen, simply leaned back in her chair and smiled. "Well," she said, her voice carrying an odd note of satisfaction, "it's about damn time." The chamber erupted in confused chittering, warbling, and the various sounds that passed for shock among the diverse alien species. Zixthala's antennae twitched violently. "Admiral Chen," the Altarian delegate squeaked through his translation device, "perhaps you don't understand. The Vorthak have just committed an act of unprecedented aggression. Your colonies are under attack, yes." Chen stood, her uniform crisp despite the late hour. "And frankly, we've been waiting for this moment for decades." The confusion deepened. The Nexari representative, a crystalline being that communicated through harmonic resonance, chimed discordantly. "Waiting. Your species desires conflict?" Chen laughed, a sound that somehow managed to be both warm and terrifying. "Desire? No, that's not quite right. See, here's the thing about humans that you've never quite grasped. We're really, really good at violence. Uncomfortably good. We've spent the last 2 centuries trying to convince ourselves we've evolved beyond it." She activated her personal holo display, showing peaceful human settlements, art galleries, and children playing in parks. "We've built beautiful cities, created magnificent art, explored the cosmos with wonder and curiosity. We've tried so hard to be the enlightened species we thought we should be." The display shifted to show archives from Earth's history, medieval battles, world wars, the gradual transition to interstellar peace. But deep down in our genetic memory, we remember what we are. Persistence hunters, pack predators, the species that dominated a death world by being more stubborn and vicious than everything else that tried to kill us. Zixthala's mandibles clicked rapidly. "But your colonies, the civilian casualties, will be avenged," Chen said simply. "The Vorthak made a critical error in their intelligence gathering. They saw our peaceful settlements and diplomatic missions and assumed we were soft. They never looked deeper." Admiral Chen gestured and new holographic displays materialized around the chamber. Technical specifications, ship designs, weapon systems that made the assembled aliens recoil in horror. "For 200 years we've been building what we called our deterrent fleet. Ships we never intended to use. Weapons we hoped would rust in storage. Soldiers we trained but prayed would never see combat." Her smile turned predatory. "We told ourselves it was just insurance, a necessary evil for protection." The displays showed massive dreadnoughts emerging from hidden shipyards, their hulls bristling with weaponry that seemed to defy conventional physics. Legions of human soldiers in powered armor that made them look like mechanical demons. The truth is, we were just waiting for someone to give us permission to be what we really are. The Vorthak war chant transmission suddenly cut through the chamber's communication array, a harsh, alien sound full of violent promise. But instead of fear, it was met with something far more unsettling: human laughter. "Listen to that," Chen said, her eyes bright with anticipation. "They're trying to intimidate us with threats of violence. They have no idea they just declared war on a species that turned warfare into an art form, before we could even leave our birth planet." She pulled up tactical displays showing human fleet positions. The numbers were staggering, not just in quantity but in the sheer destructive potential of each vessel. "We have contingency plans for fighting every species in this galaxy," she continued casually. "Not because we're paranoid, but because strategic thinking is just how our minds work. We can't help but analyze threats and develop countermeasures. It's compulsive." The chamber had fallen dead silent except for the continued Vorthak transmissions, which were growing more frenzied as their scouts reported what they were detecting from human space. "The Vorthak think they're apex predators because they conquered a few dozen primitive worlds," Chen said, her tone becoming conversational again. "But they've never faced anything like us. We're the species that looked at our own mortality and said, 'Not today.' We're the ones who took a planet that was actively trying to kill us and made it into a garden. She paused, listening to another transmission, this one from the human fleet. Her smile widened. Admiral Chen, Zixathala whispered, what have your people done? What we should have done the moment the Vorthak started their expansion, Chen replied. We've stopped pretending we're not the scariest thing in the galaxy. The tactical display updated, showing the position of the Vorthak invasion fleet. Or rather, where it had been. The energy signatures were different now. The Vorthak wanted chaos, Admiral Chen said, gathering her files and preparing to leave. They wanted to unleash destruction across the galaxy, to show everyone what true violence looked like. She paused at the chamber entrance, looking back at the stunned assembly of alien diplomats. They succeeded. They just didn't realize that when you trigger chaos around humans, we don't run from it. We embrace it. We've been civilized for so long, we almost forgot how good we are at controlled destruction. The final transmission came through, not from the Vorthak, but from the human fleet commander. 3 words that would echo through galactic history. Threat neutralized. Admiral. As the chamber doors closed behind her, Admiral Chen's final words drifted back to the assembled aliens. Thank you, Vorthak, for reminding us who we really are. We needed that. In the silence that followed, one truth became clear to every species present. The humans had never been the peaceful explorers they pretended to be. They had been apex predators playing at being civilized. And now they were done pretending.